welcome back to the Fallon Frequencies podcast, your space for that alignment, expansion, and of course, unstoppable energy. I am your host and mindset mentor, Fallon, and today we're going to be riding the wave of last week's episode on desire. So if you haven't tuned into last week, stop here, go ahead, have a listen, come back, so you can get the full picture. This week, we're going to dive into something that I know everybody experiences, and that's resistance. That tug, that hesitation, that nervous gut feeling, or even that full-blown fear that shows up right when you're stepping into your next level. Resistance is not the enemy. It's a signal. It's a marker. It's a nudge. It shows that you're stretching and you're growing and you're expanding. So we're going to talk about how resistance shows up, what it really means, and most importantly, how to navigate it energetically. We're no longer operating on autopilot. We're conscious, we are aware, and we're stepping fully into our power. So first things first, let's normalize it, okay? Resistance is natural. Resistance is normal. Every single human feels it. Your brain is wired to protect you, to keep you in what's familiar and safe and comfortable. So when you do get that hesitation or that gut check or that nagging thought of like, I don't know if I can do this, that's actually the universe saying, hey, love, we're leveling up. So best example here, when my very first time moving abroad, okay? Fun fact, I've done it a few times, but my first time moving abroad, I lived in Panama. I lived in Panama to finish my schooling, and then I decided to actually stay there afterwards as well and experience life there. And it was a very exciting kind of off the grid, off the charts kind of random desire I had, but it was a crystal clear thing that I felt like I had to do. And of course, as it would happen, once I made this decision, the thoughts started creeping in. It was like, what am I doing? I had my suitcase packed, the tickets were bought, my apartment was already set up. And it was like, am I crazy? Like thoughts were going through my head as they do when you're making a big, scary, bold, different move. And what is that? That is resistance, okay? Totally normal. My logical mind was screaming at me, trying to keep me safe from moving to a new country alone in a place where I didn't fully know the language. Every fear, every hesitation, was just the universe it's like tapping you on the shoulder. It's like, hey, we're doing something different here. Are you sure you want to do that? Like I said, your brain's trying to keep you safe, but the magic is what's on the other side of that fear is always growth. Daring to do something unfamiliar, trusting that inner knowing. And like for my sake, like for this example, I knew I needed to live there. I had to do it. It was something that was pulling me, and it was meant to be a chapter in my life story. And I went and I stayed and I had fun and I learned and I grew. And even when I knew it wasn't my forever move, I still made the changes I needed to continue evolving. Now, like I said, if you know me at all, and you know that I've done this many times, some might even call me a bit of a risk taker. But the thing that I'm getting at here is every single time I've come up to my edge, I have leaned into the resistance, okay? I've uncovered something new about myself, a deeper layer of confidence, a fiercer trust in myself, a bigger, bolder version of me that I didn't even know existed. So it's like every single time that you choose to move forward despite the resistance, you are actually proving to yourself that you can be trusted. You're stacking evidence in your favor that you've got your own back. And that is the foundation of everything, having a very, very strong self-trust, okay? By trusting my inner knowing, by choosing to believe in myself, even when the path wasn't clear, I wasn't just making a move here. I was expanding my capacity to hold more, to create more, to become more. And that's the real magic resistance is offering us if we're willing to lean in. And I really, really want this to hone in on, I want women to understand this concept. Like you can literally always come back to your current reality if you want to. But you're never gonna know what's on the other side if you don't take that first step. Like, how could you? How could you possibly know? The version, that version that lives in your head will maybe stay in your head forever. if you don't dare to move beyond the fear, beyond the comfort, beyond what feels safe. Okay. Now, looking at that little sneak peek into my own journey, having those fears and that hesitation and what am I doing moments, I want to kind of bring it a little closer and give you an even more simple analogy so it can be a bit more relatable, because not everybody's just going to pack up their bags and move to Panama or Australia for that matter. So thinking about this, like think about it in starting a new workout. Okay. We've all probably been on the workout trend at some point, Day one, you get into it, your muscles are screaming. Every move to you is feeling foreign. You're kind of probably off balance. You don't know how to do the move properly, and you probably want to quit halfway through. Or if you've ever jumped on the Pilates trend, you know that shit is hard. The first few sessions, your body feels broken. You wonder why you've even signed up in the first place, okay? But the thing is, after those few sessions, what happens? Your body adapts. You feel stronger, you feel more alive, you even feel like unstoppable, okay? That initial resistance, that first layer of transformation, it's a way of really showing you, I guess, what you're capable of. Like, what can you push through? It's giving you a taste of your own power before you've fully stepped into it. So a reflection for you, I want you to think about this. Where are you feeling resistance right now? And what do you feel like it could be signaling about your next level growth? Take a pause, tune in, and notice. Resistance is never a reason to just stop in your tracks. I would like to say it's actually spotlighting your evolution, because it's showing you where things are coming up, and it's about changing how we view it. So we're noticing the resistance, we're catching the patterns, and we're changing our relationship with our old narrative. Resistance isn't something to fight or push past blindly. It's information. It is feedback. And when we respond consciously, okay, it becomes the fuel for our next level. Okay, so now that we've normalized it, I've given you some examples to really feel into what resistance might feel like for you, being that tug or that hesitation or that inner pushback. Knowing that that's all feedback, to me, is just a very, very clear sign or proof that growth is actually occurring. Growth is happening. And the magic here, once we understand that, is we can navigate it in a way that feels a bit more smooth and intentional and energizing, instead of some chaotic mess that you're just trying to get to the other side of. And I want you to think of this like your daily practices as your energy compass. I'm all about energy. And again, saying this is never going to be about perfection. It's really just about showing up consistently for yourself, teaching your mind and your energetic body the frequency that you want to live in. I've had I don't know if I heard this from a book or a different mentor, but even like a B- effort is better than a 0, if you look at it that way, especially if you've got a tendency to be a perfectionist. That's a really great way to get past that perfectionism and realize that even a B- effort is better than 0. Why? Because momentum matters. Energy in motion matters. Saying yes to yourself daily matters. That's how you start rewiring your mind, opening new energetic circuits and living in alignment with your next level self. I see this all the time in the online world especially, and it's very noisy, okay? There are so many conflicting thoughts. There's like the endless feed of rules and hacks and so-called must-do strategies. And listen, I think all of those things can work, and they do work for some people, but the hack itself is not what is working. Why do these strategies work? Why do these things work for people? Is because the person's energy behind the formula or the strategy or the thing was aligned to that method. I want you to understand here that nothing is absolute. What feels expansive and magnetic for one person might actually feel heavy and forced and totally blocked for another. The golden ticket isn't the hack or the method or the funnel or the script. The golden ticket is the energy behind the method, and that energy is your energy, okay? So I want you to really start to become aware and think about this. Are you doing something because someone told you it's the only way? Or Are you doing it because you genuinely feel the shift when you do it? Does it make your heart lighter? Does it raise your energy? Does it make your inner guidance feel stronger? And that's going to be where alignment comes in. And that is your inner truth, And if I think about this for an example, meditation, I think meditation is an incredible tool. And for me, it was a very huge challenge at first. I have always been a go-getter. I've always been a doer. I've always been very action-driven and on the move. And sitting still to me for 5 minutes was torture. My mind would race, the guilt would pile on, like you should be doing something productive. You should be moving. You should be whatever it might be, right? Go do the laundry. But the moment I stopped forcing it and started tuning into my energetic body, everything for me shifted. Suddenly meditation became this tool that grounded me and expanded me and aligned me with my desires. It wasn't about following the rule of I must meditate every day, okay? It was about feeling the energy of the practice and letting that guide me, okay? So your energetic checkpoint, I want you to think about this. Before any practice you take or action, ask yourself, how does it feel right now? And then once you do the practice, how does it feel after? Your energy will not lie to you. That's going to be your compass, and that's the North Star, okay? I want you to think about this with everything. Perfect example, especially in the self-help world, journaling, affirmations, moving your body, all great things. But the point I'm getting at here, the thing that I'm trying to drill into your head is that it's never going to be about the act itself. It's the energy that you bring to it. A run might clear your head and elevate your vibration, or have a dance in your living room, light yourself up. The secret is not attachment to the actual practice, okay? It's attachment to how it's making you feel. When I think of writing affirmations, I think affirmations are incredible if they work for you, if they make your soul sing, if you feel incredible when you write them and you believe what you're writing. Same with meditation. Does it ground you? It is something that you do need to strengthen, and that's where the consistency comes in. But leaning into, I guess it's like having this internal discernment of what actually works for you versus listening to the outside world and then telling you what works for you. Movement, dance, running, if it elevates your energy, go do it. I've seen this really awesome trend, which I love, of people online, dancing a little dance every day. Great, go for it. If you like to dance every day, love that. I know it's part of it just shaking up the energy, but it's one of those things if it doesn't work for you, don't do it. If it makes you feel like shit, then don't do it. I don't know anybody that feels like shit after dancing, but you get what I'm saying here. Before you take an action, how does it feel? After you take it, how does it feel now? Your energy's not going to lie to you. So really start paying attention here. Okay? So now that we're kind of showing up for ourselves daily and we're tuning into what truly lifts our energy, I do want to take it deeper. Everything is energy. As you know, I say that nonstop all the time because I want it to sink in for you. Everything is energy. So what does that mean? What is the universe responding to? It's responding to your vibration, but it's responding to your vibration first, not your proof or your results or any of the tangible stuff. Energy always comes first. Always. 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 End of story. Vibration first. I want that to click for you. It responds to your vibration first. So this is why it matters so much. Why does it matter? It doesn't matter what you're doing. It matters so much of how you do what you're doing. If you're writing those affirmations, but your mind is elsewhere, not feeling the energy behind those words, you are literally just scribbling on a page because someone told you to do it. It doesn't shift the reality, okay? I'm bringing this up because a lot of women in my world lately are like, oh, I've done that. I've done the thing. And it's like, but did you? Were you conscious when you were doing it? And it's this write-off. And I want you to understand that these tools are all awesome, but you've got to focus on the energy in which you're doing the thing. Energetic alignment is an inside-out game, okay? Your energy decides your reality, and the rest follows. When you start making these energetic decisions more consistently and not like a one-time fix, it's a whole new way of being and a new way of living. When your energy matches your desires, even before, well, they're only going to match your desires before they're going to appear in your external world. You know, if you think of tuning your guitar, okay? If your guitar is out of tune, the right notes are going to sound wrong. Same with your energy. If your frequency is off, literally nothing in your reality will resonate correctly with your desires because everything's vibrating on a certain frequency. You cannot manifest the energy you're not embodying. Do you understand what I'm getting at here? We're listening to this because we're all about taking those steps. We are up leveling, we are shifting timelines, but we cannot do that if we're in the wrong energy. You cannot manifest the energy you're not embodying, okay? So I'm going to put even a thicker layer on this. I just really want you to understand it and to get it. And if you have any questions, jump into my DMs after, but I feel like this needs to be said. If we're tuning into our frequency, okay, we're really doing it. We're full on showing up for ourselves and we're anchoring into our daily practices. A really crucial skill to adopt is actually being able to have awareness where we're going to see the other side of the coin. You know, it's like so many women panic the moment the resistance shows up. Why? Because it freezes you, it shrinks you. You assume the universe is shutting a door on you. But remember this lens, okay? Polarity is always operating. So what does that mean if you're not familiar with universal laws? For every no, there's a yes waiting. For every single wall, there's a doorway you haven't seen yet. So the question really comes down to what story are you choosing to tell yourself about the experience that you're having? Duality always exists. Like I said, every yes, there's a no. Every obstacle has an opportunity sitting right behind it. So that universal law of polarity is telling us everything has an opposite. You can't know one side without experiencing the other. And the magic comes from choosing which side you want to put your focus and your energy on. You know, I've had so many moments in my life, and I'm sure you have too, where the lens was maybe stuck on the obstacle, okay? You know, paperwork, timing, messy logistics, the not convenient path, okay? But the thing is, we always have a choice in how we approach that. The opportunity lens is the reframe. We're going to put on our glasses and we're going to be seeing opportunities through those glasses. So many voices in personal development say this in so many different ways. You know, perfect example, Tony Robbins, life is always working for you, okay, not against you. That's an opportunity lens, you know. My favorite way of seeing it is like everything in your life, literally everything, the challenges, the breakdowns, the heartbreaks, the delays, they have all come into my life for my own evolution, for my soul's purpose, to teach me, to help me fully live, to feel both sides of the coin and still rise on the other side of it. And I will be very, very real with you and very honest. I have had my fair share of challenges. You know, even my first entrepreneurial endeavor wasn't the future I thought it would be. And I could have very, very easily taken the easy road, or I wouldn't even call it the easy road, but let's say the conditioned path, and quit right there. You know, I could have played victim card, but I didn't. You know, the entire time I was like, what opportunity is coming out of this? Without even sharing all the details about it, it's like it wasn't working in my favor, and I'm like, what's coming out of this? Something's coming out of this, but what opportunity? And when I reflect now, it's like what came out of that was me finding my fucking voice, you know, diving deeper into my soul's purpose, listening to my own intuition, and becoming braver than I have ever been. This is why I'm so freaking passionate about personal development and mindset and energetics, because I want women to realize that they can literally change everything. You can change your entire reality today. It's not just for the special ones, it's for everyone. But you have to show up honestly and consistently. And yes, even when it's uncomfortable, even when you feel resistance, it's about you making an energetic declaration. You've got to get used to living in the unknown and daring to live expansively if you want change in your life. And when you do that, you find out that life has been holding you the entire time. You have always been supported. The universe has been supporting you from day one. There are angels everywhere, but you have to be open to see them. So, hear me when I say this. The opportunities are literally smacking you in the face right now. If you're running, you've got a challenge right now, or something's going on, or if you can't get past something, I want you to realize that there are opportunities all around you if you open your eyes. So stop feeding the resistance and start zooming out. Every no is simply the other side of a yes, and that's already on its way to you. That shift in perspective changes everything. When you feel the resistance, zoom out. Do not fixate on it. Don't spiral on it. And a great way to frame this is like, what else is true here? What might this be preparing me for? Or how could this actually be clearing space for a bigger yes for me? Energy flows where attention goes, okay? Shift the lens, and suddenly the path lights up in ways you couldn't see before. So I want you to think about that. Whatever challenge you're currently having, how can we reframe that as proof that you're right on the edge of your next level of growth? Okay? So you're not being stopped, you're being stretched. And resistance is not your block, it's your initiation. And the polarity layer here is just reminding you that both sides exist at once. I want you to choose the correct lens, choose the energy, and choose the story. Every no becomes a compost for a bigger yes, and every obstacle can become an altar if you let it. The universe is not here to shrink you, babe. It is here to expand you. So here's what I want you to do. If this conversation sparked something inside you, if it made you breathe a little deeper or see the challenges with fresh eyes, don't keep it to yourself. Share this episode with anyone you feel like it would resonate with. Share it with women in your world who you know are ready to rise and need this reminder. Please tag me in your stories, DM me your biggest aha, and let's create this beautiful ripple effect. And if you have been vibing with these conversations, I would love for you to hit that subscribe button, rate it, review it. It takes 2 seconds, and it really, really helps this podcast get into the right hands and the right energy of women who are ready for this work. I want you to share it, tag me, put me in your DMs. I love hearing from you. Thank you so very much for sharing your energy with me. I'm going to love and leave you there, and I will catch you next week. Bye.